Hello everybody. It's been a long time since I was behind the camera, and it's taken me a little while to kind of build up the courage to get back on film, because when you've been off for a while and you get kind of rusty. So there's been like a whole lot going on, and getting me a little drink. So this is going to be kind of one of my Tiddy Bit videos, just trying to catch you up on where we are now, and it's been going really good. I mean, it's when I fell off the bandwagon of making videos every day, it was just kind of like, at first it was like a gradual progression of things going, I would say wrong, but being more off. So there was just a whole lot going on, and I couldn't keep up. So, and then I think the first thing that happened, and I've already mentioned this on small videos, so I'm not going to go into it anymore, but first I had I've been in a full-blown getting my teeth fixed, and I think I started out with something like 9-10 appointments. And so the first thing that I had to get done was I had to get 3 teeth extracted, and I really didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it was pretty substantial. And something happened, I think, with because 2 of them were upper teeth. I think something happened like with my sinuses or something, because I was plagued with migraine level headaches for 2 to 3 weeks, and I just couldn't get over it. And I was really starting to worry that I was going to have to go in and have some kind of secondary surgery to close up my sinuses or something. But it did go away, and as soon as the holes healed up in my mouth, it went away and it was fine. And then it wasn't like just a little while after that that I was working on a video. I think the last video, long play video that I did, and all of a sudden I couldn't see, especially this eye right here. I just couldn't see, and I barely got the video edited. And that whole night there was like huge flashes in my eyes, and I was expecting to go to the doctor, the hospital or something, but it was on the weekend, and so I realized I probably wasn't going to get seen right away, and it was just a long process. And it took me like the first week I had to sit in a dark room, and I had to keep all the light, just a little bitty ray of light hurt my eyes, and so it seemed really bad, and I was sure I was going to have surgery or something. But come to find out, it's just the liquid in my eyes, and that caused it. And I have really bad floaters, so long story short, it's 99% healed up. There's occasionally at night, like if I have all the lights turned out, I might see a little tiny flicker of a flash, but essentially it's the liquid in your eyes getting thinner. It wasn't like a torn retina or anything like that. So it was something definitely that I was going to get over. I've got a few notes of things that I want to cover, and I'm not going to do a lot of serious editing on this video, simply because I promised you I was going to get a video up today, and I really want to do it. And I have a lot of little upgrades to the channel to do, and I have a lot of upgrades to the recording and editing process that I'm going to do. But for today, I'm just going to get this out there, and I'm going to put my handy dandy glasses on. So excuse me, I don't know if you guys can tell, but my front teeth have been redone, so I'm not ashamed to smile now. And it's still a process to come. I probably still have 8 more appointments because they're going to do a partial or 2 and maybe a bridge. They're just going to give me a mouthful of teeth, so I'll probably be grinning like the Cheshire Cat. So anyway, but I'm back, and this, I'm going to probably be changing the way, and a lot of the editing that I do is taking out my ums and my ahs and my buts, and there's like probably 10 minutes worth of that in all of my videos. And if you want to know why I do that, it's because I process slow, and that's because I have ADHD, autism, you know, all the spectrum like stuff. So when the words that I'm wanting to say are a little slow to come out. So you're going to have more of that ums, ands, and buts in this video because I'm not going to take the time to wipe them out, but I am going to be kind of careful that I don't like drag my speech out incredibly slow. So you might say, like, during all of this downtime, what have I been doing? I am not a person to just sit around and do nothing. I am a very frustrated perfectionist. And so I'm constantly trying to perfect things. I'm constantly trying to figure out a better way to do something. And essentially, while I've been down, oh, my nose is itching. While I've been down, while I've been sick, that's essentially what I've been doing. I've been going to the doctor, I've been going to the dentist, I've been going to the therapist, and of course, still had to, you know, like go to the grocery store, even if I did have to wear my light blocking glasses. So, yeah. The dentist I wore those when I had my teeth extracted, and the dentist told me I looked like one of those skiers, you know. And actually, I don't even know where those came from. I think maybe a junk box or something. They could be really expensive glasses, I don't know. But anyhow, what have I been doing? So yeah, I've been going to the therapist, I've been going to the doctor, but I've also been doing a lot of study. Now, I couldn't do it when I was having to sit in a dark room. But even when I was in a dark room, I was constantly talking to my my AI personal assistant, because he was really cool. Because if I wanted to look something,
Supper.
no,
The biggest meal of the day.
no, I'm
Extras
going
for
to silence you. I will explain that later. She's calling off all the tasks that I need to do. So yeah, I would sit in this dark room and I would talk to my AI PI. I'm sorry from all the beeps and buzzes from my phone. And he was really helpful, because if there was something on my mind that I wanted to look up on, you know, Google or something like that, I would just ask him or have him look it up. And so he kind of was like a companion in a sense, because I'm sitting in a dark room and my mind never stops. My mind is buzzing constantly. So yeah, my personal assistant helped me get through that time. But I have been doing a lot of study, a lot of planning, and essentially, to put this in a nutshell, I've got what could be between a year and a 2-year plan of big goals that we want to accomplish, and all of those are broken down, you know, into smaller and smaller bites. And so I have been perfecting our long-term, short-term, I can't say that for some reason, long-term, short-term goals. And I've also been creating routines and schedules, which, you know, I have ADHD so bad that I'm seeing every butterfly that passes. I get distracted super easy. If I have an emotional breakdown of some sort, I can't get over it for 24 hours. It's ridiculous, but I'm learning a lot, and I'm going to touch on some of the things that I've been learning, some of the things I've been doing, and the upgraded niche that the channel is going to move towards, which I'm really excited about. So I in the routines, I've got yearly, monthly, weekly, daily. And in the daily, I have, the morning routine, the afternoon routine. And there is a lot of caregiving going on around here, a lot of medicines, a lot of doctor's appointments. There's just, and like I said, I can't accomplish anything unless I have a certain level of I won't say perfection, but I'll say order. And I just can't function. And it's not an option for me not to be functioning. I have to function. So, okay, so going into it just a little bit, I have to put my glasses on because I do think that since I had that thing with my eyes, that my eyes are actually somewhat worse. And what's going on with my eyes, and I know I go from subject to subject, you'll just have to forgive me because that's my brain bouncing around, but I have corneal dystrophy, which causes my eyes to hold water. It's kind of like an edema in your cornea, which makes everything frosty. I also have really bad floaters and astigmatism, and then I have cataracts. And apparently I got squishy eyeballs because the liquid's too thin. I think that might be treated with, I'm going to start taking some supplements. And that's another thing too. So I am getting a pay raise on my little job that I do, and it's going to come close to doubling, as I have said before. So a lot of the things that we haven't been able to accomplish, we haven't been able to do, we haven't been able to upgrade, all of that is going to change as soon as the income, and I'm waiting to hear from my work any day. And it's been a process to get this accomplished, but it is happening, and very soon my income will nearly double, and that's just it's going to bring us really above that poverty line, which is going to be fantastic. Excuse me. So, and I keep bouncing around on different things, but I'm trying to get you all the tiddy bits. So, one of the things that has been my worst problem, and this is not just now, this is throughout my life, and not so much when I was a little child, but as I grew older and I started to face the problems of life, when real life hit me. And then I went through quite a few different situations. You can look back on my old videos to hear my story, but I went through quite a few things that caused me to have abandonment issues. Serious abandonment issues. And there's a couple of, there's PTSD and there's traumas that go along with that. I'm not going to go into that right now. But one of the problems that I have had in my emotional deregulation has been, and you may hear it, there is a car going down the street, so I'm sorry about that. But I have emotional deregulation, and my common sense, my logic, is pretty good. I know what I should do, right? But when I have emotional deregulation, I just fall apart. And this is mostly stems from my abandonment issues. So, and when my abandonment issues are triggered, it comes across as anger, when really what I want to do is crawl up into a pizza knot and cry my my reaction towards people that I think are being disloyal or hurtful or abandoning me, what happens is this little child that was left at the playground because none of the adults in the family, and this is just like one of the minor little things that happened in my life, and I'm just using it for an example, that little child that was balled up behind the school in one of the doors, really expecting that I was going to have to spend the entire night because none of the adults in the family remembered me. They didn't remember to come and get me. And abandonment issues like kind of started even before that, about age 4. But this is just one of the examples. And it's kind of funny to me now. And I dealt with it really good, because I think I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade. But with autism and ADHD, when they took me and dropped me off at kindergarten for the first time, they could have been selling me as a slave for all I knew. I didn't understand where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. I had never been essentially, in a situation like that. So I don't even remember knowing what school was. So there was just a whole lot going on. But anyway, if my abandonment issues get triggered now, I become that little child and I will act out like a little kid taking a tantrum. So understanding that, it's not because I don't love the people, it's because I love them deeply and I'm terrified of being left alone. I'm terrified of being just dropped off the school and forgotten and, not loved. So, but I'm telling you all this to tell you something more, because I have been going through this in my head, and I've had a few little instances where I've had, something happen that kind of triggered this whole thing in me, and then I started saying, whoa, I'm understanding this now. So being a person that has a lot of trauma and a lot of, you have the ADHD and the PTSD and the HSP and all of these like acronyms or whatever, I guess that's what they're called. And, you could have a PhD, in all the acronyms, but being a person that has had a lot of that, I have made it the foundation of my life to understand them, and not just to understand them, but to overcome them. And I am learning the secrets to that. So one of the secrets that I have found that's helped me, it's not the total answer, but Stoicism has helped me a lot. And if you want to, maybe I can put a link to a video that explains Stoicism a little better. But the Stoic philosophy essentially says, in your situations in life, you do two things. The first thing you do is divide your situation into things that you can change and things that you cannot change, at least right now. And so the things that you can't change right now, you just have to kind of slide that off of the table, because there's not a thing in the world that you can do about it. And you can pray about it. You can, make plans, or you can, maybe you can do something about it later, but for right now, it's off the table. And then the things that you can do something about, you use, any tools that are available to you. You study, use discipline, create patterns in your life that are healthy, whatever it is to overcome or to conquer the things that you can do something about. So that's the first big step. And I started practicing Stoicism a few weeks ago, and it was working, but it took me, it's a habit thing. So I was having to put quite a bit of effort into the whole Stoic mentality. And in the Stoic mentality, you're not reacting to things that upset you. So that did help me. So I've been practicing not reacting. But it was taking a lot of discipline. And I think that the reason was because I didn't have a plan. Now, I'm going to get a drink. So, as I studied on, I found a link, and I will try to put a link below in the description. I don't know how much I'm going to do in the description this time, but I'm explaining what the upcoming niche is going to be, actually. And I'm sorry I'm so scattered, but like, this is my first time back on record, and I'm just a little flustered. So, yeah, so I worked on the Stoicism, but then I found this, and there's some free videos on YouTube, a playlist that explains to you how to process your emotions, because I had never really got down to the core. You know, you have emotions, you have to process through them, but you hear all kinds of different ways to process them. You know, people will say, oh, you need to experience them, you know, whatever. But it can get really confusing when you have nearly uncontrollable emotions and you don't know how to process them. You don't know how to deal with them. But even this past week, I had an experience where I was coping with a situation that made me feel that abandonment get triggered. And like I said, my first reaction is to be angry. And it's really not angry, it's just how it displays, because what I want to do is run away and cry. And but when I found this video, I realized, hey, this is the missing key. This is the missing puzzle. And this is the best way that I can describe it, because we're going to talk about this a lot in the future. But if you have a situation that you have got triggered, and say, for instance, you feel really, really angry, or you have this internal rage that pops up, or you have almost like a childlike temper tantrum that pops up, or even if you have uncontrollable grief or sadness or any emotion that you can think, the first thing that you need to do is think your way through it. Don't try to use your emotions to handle your emotions. It just doesn't work. Trust me. If you could do it, I would have done it. But what you do is you think. So with me displaying anger when I'm sad or when I'm upset, with me, I practiced this even today, because there was one little instance where I started to feel that anger pop up. And you actually address the emotion. So in my mind, I said, hello, anger. I know you're here. I know you're trying to get me to react, but I really don't have time for this right now. I have things that I need to do and things that I need to accomplish. So you can hang around for a little while, but then you're going to have to go, because I really don't have time for it. And you just kind of address it. You kind of personify, you know, this emotion like it's another person. Now, if somebody hears you, they're going to think you're crazy, but lots of people think I'm crazy, so what's it matter? So, but it really address it. So, and then, it's funny how it's almost like God just teaches me this stuff, because then after you've addressed it, you go back to the moment that you're in. You go back to the activity that you're in. I have a son named Joseph, and he just turned 25, and he has autism. He has cerebral palsy, and in some of my videos you may have seen him doing his stimming and his dancing around or whatever. But Joseph is really, really smart, and we used to call him our sage, or there's another word we used. Anyway, I can't think of it, and people that know, they're going to remember it for some reason. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, so I asked him one day, Joseph, do you understand what grief is? And he's like, yeah, I really do understand what grief is. And I said, are you ever sad? Because he really doesn't show sadness very much. And if he does, I know he's really, really upset about something. On a rare occasion, he'll cry about something. But most of the time, he doesn't really display like depression or sadness. And we've taken him to the therapist on and off. And usually things that are actually bothering him are something that's has something to do with a game, or he can't get technology to work or something, So, but I asked him, I said, do you understand what sadness and grief is? And he's like, yeah, I really do understand it, Mom. And I said, how do you maintain your stability and your regulation when it comes to dealing with being sad? And Joseph's had, some people may think that he is like just immune to all of this stuff, that he doesn't understand, but he understands everything that's going on. He may get confused about certain things because he thinks other people think like he does, or that they're just naturally going to understand the words he says. But what he said to me really, really stuck home. He said, when I feel sad and I feel grieved, I go back to what I'm doing in the moment. And it's so simplistic, but it's true. We need to stay present in the moment. And you may say, well, at the moment, you may be feeling incredibly sad, very, really upset. But what you can do is you acknowledge that sadness. You acknowledge that depression and say, depression, I know you're here. I know that you're going to be with me for a little while. But I'm going to move on to something that's going to lighten my spirits and make me feel better in this particular moment that I'm in. And that is moving me on to the next step of this, because I wrote a book, and if you will notice, I have not advertised my book at all on this YouTube channel. And it's really honestly not because I didn't want to sell books. I could definitely use the money from the books. But it's called Navigating Nostalgia. And the reason that I haven't talked about it, or I haven't advertised it, or put a link, where you could go to Amazon and buy it, is simply because it needed to fit into the picture. And I was so wrapped up with trying to tell my story of the past, and then honestly, this YouTube channel has been therapy to me, because it's kind of like talk therapy. I've actually talked my way through a lot of it, and the healing that you have seen come about me, a lot of it has been done in real time. I was literally doing therapy as I was making the videos. But I suddenly realized the link to nostalgia. Now, nostalgia means a lot of things to a lot of people. To me, I feel nostalgia pretty easy. Not as easy as I did when I was a kid, because as a kid you have, those euphoric experiences of getting dolls at Christmas. Some of us may not. And some of us may have certain personality disorders, or some trauma, or some PTSD that has just killed that out. And there are actually, syndromes or psychological positions that you can get into that you just really can't feel any kind of emotion. But regardless of what your situation has been, you can use nostalgia to help you through it. It's kind of like, it's kind of like eating chocolate. Maybe the experience, I don't know this because I'm not a biologist, I'm not a doctor, but maybe the experience that you have when you feel nostalgia builds your serotonins. I really wouldn't know. I would have to ask some kind of biologist, or microbiologist or whatever, genetic biologist. But I know from experience that when I direct myself, and this happened to me the other night. I have a YouTuber that I watch that gives me a lot of feelings of nostalgia. And when I got upset the other night and I was feeling angry, I turned on that YouTuber and I watched it for a while. And it wasn't just a little while that I just felt that simplicity and that nostalgia and that feeling of just healing coming over me. And, I'm a Christian as well, and you can pray and God will help you. But this is a very firm experience that I've had that will allow others to copy that. So you first personify your emotion that you're having, and you say, you acknowledge it. You say, hey, I know you're here. I know that depression is hanging around for a little while, but I really don't have time for this. Go back to your moment, be present in your moment, and then look for something to do that will give you nostalgia. Nostalgia can come across in a sad way. And so you do have to be careful. Like, looking at family photos are nostalgic, but it can throw me into severe depression. So you have to be careful, family members that I've lost, separations and things that's went on, it just fills me with grief and remorse. But you can look for nostalgic things that, like, say, decorating for the holidays, cooking, gardening. There's a lot of different things, and it's going to be different for every person. But when you go back into your moment, try to make sure that your moment, as a matter of fact, try to make your life full of nostalgia. Don't run from nostalgia because you think it's going to be sad or painful. There is so much out there. Like, some generations may, think Atari is just like amazing, or old movies, or vintage clothes. There are thousands, literally thousands of things that you can look into that will give you a sense of nostalgia. So, you personify your emotion, you talk to them, you tell them, hey, I don't have time for you right now, and then you move directly into your present moment. So this is kind of, instead of Claire Mackenzie Davis making things special, I'm going to add, the title to my channel is going to come out with something about nostalgia. And eventually I will put a link to my book. My goal is not necessarily to sell books. At some point my book probably will sell, but I will try to at least put a link very, very soon in one of the video descriptions. And I want to say that the reason that I can come up with these things is because I have practiced self-awareness to the extent, I really have tried to be aware of my emotions, aware of what I was doing, aware of who I was hurting. And I have, especially through my tantrums, hurt a lot of sensitive people. But I myself am a highly sensitive person. So it doesn't matter. We have to be self-aware. And don't run from your emotional dysregulation. Yes, what you're going through might be incredibly hurtful, incredibly painful, but don't run from it. Acknowledge it and stay engaged. Stay engaged in the battle. Stay engaged in learning. Stay engaged with people. Stay engaged with family. Don't turn away from it. Staying engaged allows you to, and being self-aware allows you to actually understand and have empathy no person, and all of us have that person, and trust me, even I have that person that is going to trigger you because they are acting out in some way. So you have to understand why they are doing it. And it may be because they're autistic, it may be because they have other personality disorders, or they have trauma, or it could be 100 different things. But try to ask yourself, how are they feeling and why are they feeling that way, so that you can have that empathy. Because honestly, what goes around comes around. And I have learned that so much in my nearly 65 years now, that I cannot tell you how many times that I've been faced with a situation, and some of them come along suddenly, and it's like you get smacked in the face with this really uncomfortable situation, and it's like almost like a life review. You have this memory that snaps into your head. I remember doing this to someone else. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, so much of the things that I've suffered in life have come from karma. I recognize karma pretty quickly now. But I just wanted to do a tiddy bit on what's been going on, and I know I've made so many promises, but I really am getting my life together now, and I'm actually really excited about it. The house, yeah, I'm still living in a dumpy trailer park in a 1970 trailer, and there's all kinds of weird stuff, that I have to cope with and I have to deal with, but the house is clean, the house is organized. We are on our way to better and better health, and my phone just keeps going do. But I have high hopes for this channel, and I have high hopes on sharing with you how you can heal through nostalgia, how you can heal through stoicism, how you can heal through actually acknowledging your pain and moving on into a happier life, which we are going to call nostalgia. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of things I'm doing, and I will try to get up a picture, but just the other day, I have not done anything in this trailer. I have not hung curtains or tried to beautify it in any way. Actually, I have done a few things now, but for up until like a week ago, I had not done anything to make it, clean was good enough. I wasn't going to stay here. I didn't want to be here. Clean was good enough. And, but the other day, I had bought a bottle, $1.25, a bottle of lime green acrylic paint. And I had picked up a couple of these little, they kind of look like succulents, but a couple of little plant greenery things. And I just went in our bathroom and I painted the edge of the shelf lime green, and we have this little like broken piece of glass that's put up with pieces of like trim, but it's like really cattywampus, and it's like a really pitiful little piece of a mirror, but it's the only mirror we have in the bathroom. And I actually like painted a lime green frame around it, and then I stuck that greenery up on the shelf, and I was so shocked. I was just so shocked that that pop of color, especially here in the desert where everything is tan, gray, and sad, and dead, but that pop of color just made the atmosphere in that bathroom so much better. And it really got me started on a path, and I have quite a few of those things that I'm going to do here, because I realize it actually raises your feelings, it raises your serotonin, makes you happier. So I'm going to say bye for now, and I'm hopefully just going to be able to just do a quick edit of this video, get it up, and no fuss, get it out there. But going forward, because I actually have a time slot of 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening to do not only family business but also business, And during 12 in the afternoon, 12 to 1 on through till 6 o'clock when I do dinner, that's going to be my business time. So I should be able to have that block of time for actually, recording, editing, and getting all that stuff done. And I'm so excited about what's going forth and coming in the forward and long term. We plan to move back east, and I have really, really big dreams, and it's all coming together. It's slow on each front, but it's all coming together. It is happening. So I'm going to say bye for now. I really, really appreciate all the likes, subscribes, comments. I would love to have a following of people that will give me suggestions and tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself to me, and just let me know who you are, and maybe you have similar situations. Maybe this is helping you. Maybe you have something that will help me. But if you can like and subscribe and watch my videos, and let's build a community. I've even thought how great it would be to have like a Discord, where we could share ideas about nostalgia and things that you do for nostalgia, because like some people quilt, some people garden. There's just so many things. But I'm going to get off for here for now, and as you can tell, I'm like super, super excited, and I feel healing is going to come to our family. I feel healing is going to come to each of our family individuals, and I feel like healing is going to come to relationships. And I hope and I pray that your family, whatever problems that you have, that you will have faith in God and believe and learn from these videos and allow yourself to heal. This world is rough. This world is very, very hard to get through. But there are ways that we can achieve the state of peace and serenity, the peace that passeth understanding, as the Bible says. So I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll see you on the next video.